I started reading a book, The 12-Week Year, Get More Done in 12 Weeks Than Others Do in 12 Months by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. It's a really great book. I really admire it, and there is two parts of the book, so there is two reflections, and in the first part there's 64 pages, and I already took 1.5 pages of notes because there was so much gold in those pages. I highly recommend to read it because I really find it very useful. So I will share all the quotes and lessons that I took, and I'll share my reflections, what I got so far. So knowledge is only powerful if you use it, if you act on it. People spend lifetimes acquiring knowledge, but to what purpose? There are so many people who believe that knowledge is power, but I truly do not believe that, because the knowledge is power when you use it. So that means when you act on your knowledge, then you can create a power. But knowledge itself is not power at all. That's why we need to understand that when we're trying to go and learn something, we need to have purpose in something. Because a lot of times we have so many tools under your belt, but if you do not need that tool, why that tool supposed to be under your belt? So that means you are gathering information, the one that you needed now. Execution is the single greatest market differentiation. That means that people who execute get the most results. You potentially have the best knowledge of all. That's why so many PhDs who have amazing knowledge do not succeed in life, because sometimes they forget that you still need to act on the knowledge that you gathered. The barrier standing between you and the life you are capable of living is a lack of consistent execution. Effective execution will set you free. It is a path to accomplish the things you desire. I really love that, because a lot of times we think what is the most important thing in life when you want to achieve success, and I think that execution is one of the key things to consider, because when you consistently execute, not like just a little bit, you're really able to set yourself apart, because it's not easy most times to be consistent and execute on a daily basis, but when you do, everything is possible. It is not knowledge problem, it is execution problem. This is again back to the same idea that a lot of times people have a lot of knowledge but they do not execute. So that means when something doesn't go well, a lot of times people have a tendency to go and try to learn even more, but why you need to learn more if you didn't execute upon the things that you already know? Okay, next. Our experience has shown that most people have the capacity to double or triple their income just by consistently applying what they already know. Despite this, people continue to chase new ideas, thinking that the next idea is the one that will magically make it all better. Again, this represents the same idea that they said, that a lot of times people believe that a new knowledge will make some kind of improvement in their life, but that's not what really improves life. Most times, sometimes really people who are not that smart in society, people who are called C-level, A, B, C, and C people, a lot of times they go and execute because they have one thing that they know very well and they just execute perfectly on that. And then sometimes it's a benefit to know less. By consistently executing the critical few tasks and strategies that most supported her success, she was able to create a huge increase, and all of this without working long hours. They were sharing about the story that the lady was increasing her results 2-3 times only by consistently executing on only those things that she already knows and not focusing on any new knowledge. And that is very, very important. Now, you can't build a reputation on what you are going to do. And that is very, very strong, because basically this is by Henry Ford, and a lot of times people say all the things that they will do in the future, but all the things that you will do in the future is not able to build a brand, because if you will tell all the things what you do but you're not doing it, in the future will build a brand of the teller, not doer. Annual goals and plans are often a barrier to high performance. Because we have a lot of annual goals, a lot of times those annual goals are delaying us to act on it. Because a lot of times when you do not have a deadline, we do not perform very well. So that means when you have a short deadline, we are executing much higher and we have a higher performance. And basically says that the trap is what we call analyzed thinking. That means when we think that we have a lot of time, we are working much slower. As the heart of analyzed thinking is an unspoken belief that there is plenty of time in the year to make things happen. Exactly the same thing that I mentioned, that people believe that they have so much time, and that means that they don't need to rush, but when the deadline comes, they work full capacity and achieve a lot of things. When you focus on changing your actions, you experience incremental improvements. However, when your thinking shifts, everything changes. It's interesting because when you change the actions, what you do every day, your habits, you get some changes, improvements. But you change the way how you think, everything changes. And that is such a huge thing, because when you change how you think, your actions changes automatically. You don't need to ask what you need to do to act. At the heart, okay, this is already. Without a compelling reason to choose otherwise, most people will take comfortable actions over uncomfortable ones. The issue is that the important actions are often the uncomfortable ones. So that means they share that when we want to pursue some vision, and when we want to have some kind of actions, and we want to do something uncomfortable, we need to make sure that we have something strong backed up. So maybe we need to have a strong vision to make sure that we act on those uncomfortable actions. The secret to living your life to its potential is to value the important stuff above your own comfort. Therefore, the critical first step to executing well is creating and maintaining a compelling vision of the future that you want even more than your desire, that you desire your own short-term comfort, and then aligning your short-term goals and plans with that long-term vision. So that means when you think about uncomfortable feelings, a lot of times we are not able to pursue them because we don't know why we're supposed to pursue them. So that means when you really ask why we're supposed to do all those things, that means that is coming into the vision. And we know that we have very strong vision. There is nothing that could come up to you that you could stop you from achieving that, because it doesn't matter how big your affair is. What matters is how big your vision, because every vision increases your courage and increases your understanding that everything what you do means something. Without a compelling vision, you will discover there is no reason to go through the pain of change. That's again represents the same topic, that when you know where you're going, you will persevere during tough days. The biggest barrier to high performance is not the physical manifestation, but the mental creation. You will never outpace your mental models. Vision is the first place where you engage your thinking about what is possible for you. It's such an interesting topic, because a lot of times people believe that you're not supposed to think big because you will be disappointed. But he always said that, David said that you need to understand that everything happens twice. Once in your mind, second time in real life. If you've never thought about it, you will never achieve it. So that means the more you think about it, the more you will achieve it. You must be clear on what is you want to create. Most people focus primarily on their business or career, but business is just part of life, and it is actually your life vision that gives traction and relevance to your business. That is why we begin with your personal vision, what you want your life to look like in the future. After that is established, we move on to what your business needs to look like in order to align with and enable your personal vision. Again, this is says that when you have a personal vision, Then you're supposed to create business vision. People create a lot of times business vision and then they feel lost, but it really starts from yourself. So what kind of life you want to build? What kind of vision you want to have? What kind of character traits you want to have? What kind of values you want to have? And you build all those things, then you know exactly how your business is supposed to look like to align with your personal vision. In order to tap the incredible power of your vision, you need a future that is bigger than the present. So that means when you think about the future, the future is supposed to motivate us. And that comes from self-motivation. When you have that future vision that motivates to keep moving forward and act on all the things that you need to do to achieve that, of course you will take actions. The personal vision should define the life you want to live in all areas, including spiritual, relationships, family, income, lifestyle, health, and community. So that means when a lot of times people sometimes feel that they're imbalanced because they focus all their attention to business and they forget all other areas of their life. But health, spirituality, family is even more important sometimes than money in a business. So that means you need to really define how much time and your energy you will have to allocate to all those things. Your business vision is most powerful when it is developed in light of your personal vision. This is just the same thing, that your business vision will be much stronger when you have very strong personal vision. Once you have a clear vision of where you want to go, you will need a plan to get there. So that means it's nice to have vision, but second thing that you need to do is to make sure that you create a plan, because a vision, a goal without a plan is just a dream. The reality is that planning is some of the most productive time you can have. A lot of times people believe that planning is worthless and they waste time by planning and not executing or acting. But when you really plan, you could save so much time. So that means effective planning gives you so much time back, because you don't need to waste time during the day. Your plan should start by identifying your overall goals for 12 weeks. So that means when you create a plan, at first we start, okay, what is the end in mind? So when we start, we have the end in mind. In the end, you have greater control over your actions than you do your results. Your results are created by your actions. When you think about how you're supposed to track yourself, of course, you're supposed to understand that you need to be aggressive with your actions, but patient with your results. That means that you really put a lot of effort in your actions, but the results could not show up right away, it could be delayed, and you need to be okay and patient with that. If you want to know what your future holds, look to your actions. They are the best predictor of your future. Your actions tell the story. That means when you look into your week, what kind of actions do you do? Multiply those actions by years, and then you'll know exactly what kind of person you will be, what kind of skills you are building. Because a lot of times people build skills that they will not need in 5, 10, 30 years. So maybe you're able to switch something and start building a skill and take actions that really could help you in decades to go. More than 60% of the time, the breakdown occurs in execution process, but usually people assume the plan is at fault and change it. Have the courage to measure your performance. A lot of times when you think about plan and execution, people plan and then they try to execute, but they do not execute well. And then, of course, they do not get results. But because they did not get results, they think that the plan was wrong. But as it says that 60% of people who didn't execute, they think that the plan was wrong. So they change the plan and they try to execute. But if you didn't execute the first plan, you will not execute most time in the second plan. Because a lot of times that plan could be great, but without execution, no results will come. Everything you want to accomplish in life requires an investment of your time. So that is, again, I love the saying that you need to give up to go up, and that means that sometimes when you want to create something and take actions, that requires time. So that means you will need to take away from something else time and give to the action that you want to take, to more important things. The reality is that if you are not purposeful about how you spend your time, then you leave your results to chance. Because You can sleepwalking through life without being intentional, but when you're really intentional about your life and you take control and plan exactly what you're supposed to do during the day, it's much easier to say yes or no to things, and that means when something pops up, you're able to say yes or no because you know exactly what you're supposed to achieve and if you are on track or not. To realize your potential, you must learn to be more mindful about how you spend your time. This is, again, it's very, very important to understand that time is the most valuable tool. And of course, rich people, what they do, they make a lot of money to buy time back. No one is using time to buy money. We do that, but for different reasons. But we need to understand that time is very, very, very important. Accountability is the realization that you always have a choice. Accountability is not consequences, it is ownership. Accountability, a lot of times people say that you need to keep accountable someone, but you're not able to keep other people accountable because it seems it's very negative, but every person needs to take ownership and be accountable for someone. So that's where true accountability is coming from. All of us have a tendency to look outside of ourselves for things to change and improve. A lot of times when I think about improvements and results, a lot of times we look what we could change around us to improve results, but sometimes we just need to look inside. What kind of things we could change inside, confidence, thinking, and when we change something inside, everything around us could change as well. The only things you control are your thinking and your actions. And just very important that a lot of times bad things will happen around you, but you have control of your thinking and your actions. You will need to learn to act on your commitments instead of your feelings. If you don't, you will never build any momentum and you will get stuck continually starting and restarting, or it is so often the case giving up. A lot of times people feel like doing something, then they don't feel like doing it, and then they restart, and then they feel frustrated because of that. And because they feel frustrated after starting and restarting so many times, they just finally give up. So that means if you are able to learn how to act during bad feelings, you will succeed and you'll achieve a lot of great things. Learning to do things you need to do, regardless of how you feel, is a core discipline for success. Again, this is he repeats quite a few times that learning how to act no matter how you feel is one of the key ingredients to really work and achieve success. When you are totally present in the moment, when you connect with the now, life is more enjoyable. A lot of times people live in the past and then makes them depressed. A lot of people live in the future and that makes them anxious. But if you live now, there is no any bad feelings. You just could act and make things happen. Results are not the attainment of greatness, but simply confirmation of it. Life balance is not about equal time in each area. Life balance is more about intentional imbalance. The first one was that results are not attainment of greatness, but simply confirmation of it. A lot of times people who did so much effort to achieve things finally get confirmation by achieving something. But a lot of times when someone achieves something, then they say that, oh, they are great. No, they've been great before that. They have all the skills to achieve it. That means that most people have achieved greatness before get confirmation. And again, about life balance. Life balance is not about equal time in each area. Life balance is about intentional balance. So that knowing that you are able to control how you allocate your time and energy, and you are able to control what is most important at the time. Life balance is achieved when you are purposeful about how and where you spend your time, energy, and effort. And that's very important because you will never feel balanced if you you will try to find the balance. You'll never be able to give equal time, but you're able to give as much as you want with your time, energy, and effort. This is it's quite a lot. I try to share as much as I can. But it's an amazing book. I highly recommend. I will share what I learned from the second part as well.